So guys, the crypto markets are trading sideways right now. Ethereum had some crazy rip-ups in the last 48 hours, which is calling for investors to see a little bit of corrections around that price action. Also, Bitcoin is sitting at a specific zone where we could be hitting a specific zone of support, and then from there ripping back up to potential new all-time highs, or we could be seeing a hit to resistance and then potentially seeing more deviations to that 112,000 zone. Right now, guys, everyone's calling for altcoins, but there's pretty much a little bit of mixed sentiment with deviations that could be occurring and exactly what that timeline looks like for altcoins to just explode. So in today's video, I want to walk you through the current price action that we're seeing for multiple assets, different perspectives around Bitcoin and Ethereum, and exactly what you should be doing if you are investing into altcoins. But if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content, guys. I keep you updated on the day-to-day events, price action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of. Guys, we saw some crazy pump ups in the last, like how I said, 48, 72 hours for Ethereum. But right now, everyone's calling for a little bit of corrections because whenever we see crazy rip ups like that, deviations do tend to happen. But with all that being said, everyone is still calling for altcoin season. So I want to walk you through the price action, what everyone is predicting, and what you need to be aware of. So let's jump straight into it. So guys, like how I said, the crypto markets are seeing a little bit of deviations right now. Bitcoin is currently sitting at around 117,000, just trading sideways, nothing really major in terms of those deviations. But this is where a lot of people are anticipating we're going to be hitting this level of support, and are we going to be ripping down below it? Crypto Mitchell now talked about that exactly with the price action we're seeing with Bitcoin, and how potential volatility is showing that we could be potentially sweeping some zones or hitting down to that support region and then deviating. But right now we're currently seeing at around 117,000. It looks quite strong with pretty much the wicks that I am seeing in the imbalance zone as well. So I'm sure we could be seeing a recovery for this rather than a breakdown, but this imbalance is what everyone is talking about and returning to that specific zone if we do see a breakdown in price action. Ethereum right now, guys, has been rallying like crazy, but one thing I do not like to see on this daily time frame is this long wick. Now at the end of the day, we can invalidate this significantly within the day, but based off of what I'm currently seeing right now, this is why everyone is calling for potential deviations, because with these crazy rip ups, you can see the buying price action just weakened, and right now it looks like we're on that potential side of a deviation. Altcoins, guys, have been following the price action with Ethereum, which is why they're reacting already quite, much more aggressively than Ethereum itself. We're seeing some deviations already start to take place for the daily time frame, and I'm expecting this to drop down a little bit more before we start ripping back up. Bitcoin dominance, guys, saw a little bit of recovery. What did I tell y'all? I told y'all once it reached this specific zone of support, we're potentially going to see a little bit of recovery. This long wick is telling me, guys, that more than likely we're going to be seeing a jump up for the imbalance, especially with some Fibonacci sequences, the EMA, 50-day EMA, 200 EMA. There's a few different things, guys, that really point to the fact that we could be seeing a correction for Bitcoin dominance. But everyone right now is calling for altcoin season, talking about how Ethereum is on the verge of a huge rip up, giving multiple charts and pretty much correlations with previous cycles as well as with Bitcoin and a few other assets. But Merlin the trader talks about Ethereum. He says ETH faked them out twice. Now it's breaking out clean, and it's the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. He says this is how rotations begin. Watch what happens next. The E/Bitcoin ratio never lies. This is where smart money rotates first. So right here, guys, he's giving us the perception of a double fake out pattern. And this is, bullish, but at the end of the day, is this the actual send where everything just rips up? I don't necessarily think so. I think that, it's still a matter of time before all this happens. We talked about with, Benjamin Cohen and the price action we saw with altcoin and Bitcoin pairs, and how potentially we still see deviations nearing to the end of the year. So this is why I say altcoins, guys, are on the verge of ripping up, but we still probably need a little bit more time, and Bitcoin dominance is going to be making a recovery, and I'm going to be making a whole video whenever it actually happens and I'm right, or if I'm wrong. But right now, guys, this is why I'm super bullish, but still anticipating more deviations. Now, if we look at the different perspectives around Bitcoin, around Ethereum, this is where we're talking about how Bitcoin is hitting specific zones, and we're either going to be ripping up or we're going to be deviating. Crypto Mitchell now talks about it. Says Bitcoin is in the middle short term, which means that volatility goes down until we're sweeping off any of the levels. And this is where I told you guys with the long wick, a few deviations, the imbalance zones, all that different stuff. But then it goes into it. In that case, losing 116.7K. I'll be targeting 110 to 112K. And it's pretty much these specific zones, guys, that he's anticipating with previous lows as well as overall imbalances that we saw within the chart. He goes on to say breaking 119.5K equals a new all-time high, which is pretty much breaking resistance of what we were currently seeing. And he says, I'm buying the dip if it comes, and I think you should be doing it as well, guys. I think everyone should be anticipating potential deviations because we saw some crazy rip-ups in the market. So a little bit of a correction and then shooting back up is more than likely going to be the right path. But all in due time, guys, we're going to figure this out. And this is just one post around Bitcoin, guys. If we look at the price action around Ethereum, it pretty much shares almost the same correlation in terms of the deviations we could be seeing. He says, I mentioned this before, and I also said it, but Ethereum has seen a tremendous $1,100 increase in just a little more than a week. That's great. It's an uptick in volatility to the upside, which means that we're likely going to get some corrections. Those corrections are incredible opportunities. They are likely going to be harsh, painful, and severe, as altcoins could lose 10 to 20% in just a few hours. Take it easy, have a long position, and you'll be fine. What are the levels to watch on ETH? He says, I think that sub 3,300 is a massive opportunity to be buying your ETH in. So he says that 3,300 region, guys, which is specifically in this specific imbalance in what we're seeing, guys, and getting back to this wick that we saw on that huge rip up a few days ago. But this is where, you know, everyone has expectations of potential deviations. You know, I think we could potentially be hitting that 3,200 region, 3,250, but it's all in due time, guys, to see exactly how strong the price action is looking. And this is why everyone is still anticipating more deviations in the market, guys. You need to understand both perspectives, not just when everyone gets euphoric, but also whenever we see crazy rip-ups and corrections that do have to take place for a healthy market. CryptoCon gives us a little bit perspective around the cycle top in 2017 and 2021, and pretty much how we're not at the verge of seeing that based off of exactly the volatility pivot that you're seeing at the bottom of this chart. He says, looks like Bitcoin's prepping for a long-term volatility pivot, the same kind that's brought us previous cycle tops. No cycle top in sight according to the monthly logarithmic Bollinger Band width. Up we go, guys, and you can see we hit this point multiple times at the cycle top in multiple cycles, guys, and we're not there yet. Really points to the fact that Bitcoin still has time to rally, and this kind of correlates to my perspective that Bitcoin dominance is more than likely going to be seeing a recovery, and we're going to be seeing altcoins get squeezed. We did talk about it though with another great post talking about how exactly we could be seeing deviations, but it's more likely going to be happening in the following weeks. That was from Benjamin Cohen, talking about exactly more than likely, you know, we are going to be seeing Ethereum see a lot more traction, but then from there it's going to return back into Bitcoin because that's just the name of the game. From there, Bitcoin's going to have its last rip up and then return all of those gains back into Ethereum and then altcoins and then so on and so forth. But that timeline, guys, is more likely going to be at the end of the year, which is why you shouldn't get super bullish super quickly. The co-bestseller talks about exactly the price action that we're seeing with Ethereum and also exactly how it correlates to Bitcoin. And this is also shooting more steam up the bulls' butts, talking about exactly we're about to freaking explode. This is the craziest part of the Ethereum rally. While Ethereum is now up 147% in 3 months, take a look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin ratio. Relative to Bitcoin, Ethereum was nearly 3 times larger in September of 2023. In September 2022, 1 Bitcoin would buy 11 Ethereum. Now it buys 33 Ethereum. Is the Ethereum rally just getting started? And this is where we have different perspectives, guys, based off the correlation with Bitcoin and Ethereum and pretty much how they are pretty much performing against each other. Right now, we are seeing a crazy rip up, and is this just a start for Ethereum? This is why everyone is super bullish, guys. But I give you both perspectives, not only the deviations, but also potential rip ups that we could be seeing. Now, crypto markets are trading sideways right now. While we are seeing a little bit of red, the green has been running really crazy, guys, for the 7-day. You can see Ethereum for the 7-day up 20%, XRP 21%. It is freaking crazy. Right now, my portfolio right now, guys, is seeing green in the last 7 days, but for the 24-hour, it is seeing red because we were anticipating deviations and anticipate a little bit more deviations, guys. A lot of these assets right now, they saw a little bit of recovery. Just a chill guy was sitting at around 2 cents. Condex was sitting at around 0.016. Hash was sitting at around 0.003. So a lot of these assets are up significantly from where they were, you know, a month or 2 months ago. But we could be seeing a little bit more deviations, getting back to that, you know, baseline point, and then from there ripping up. So just expect deviations, guys. But swiping everything to the side, that is currently what is taking place. We've been seeing some crazy explosive moves for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, but whenever we see explosive moves, guys, corrections have to take place. And whenever corrections take place, altcoins are going to get squeezed. And you should not be capitulating your bag right now. Right now is the worst time to be selling your altcoins, guys. Right before altcoin season happens, whenever altcoins have been consolidating for the past 4 years, right now is the worst time. You need to be dollar cost averaging, keeping up with all these news events and how liquidity is shifting. From there, it's going to really let you know where you want to exit, where you need to be entering, and also exactly what the end game is going to be looking like. And on this channel, I show you guys all of that. When I buy, when I sell, and exactly what I'm doing with my crypto portfolio. So, new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, press action on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and practically everything you need to be aware of, guys. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the markets. A lot of people are going to make a lot of money, but a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money because they do not know what they are doing. So make sure you keep up with someone like me that keeps you updated with all the day-to-day information, price action, and just cuts out all the other fluff. And from there, just keep up with the day-to-day and how the weeks change getting into the end of the year. On this channel, I drop day-to-day content. So hopefully, guys, you stay tuned, and hopefully I catch you guys tomorrow. Drop me any comments, questions, suggestions that you guys might have, and I'll be sure to cover it. Peace.